You're listening to the Membership Geeks podcast, bringing you proven practical tips and advice from the leading experts on growing a successful membership business.
If your members are leaving your membership site and telling you that the reason they're going is that they can't afford to stay subscribed, what can you do? Hey everyone, you're listening to the latest episode of the Membership Geeks podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morrison, chief geek around these parts, and I'm so happy that you're here. If you're new to the show, welcome. I'm so glad you found us. You have stumbled across the number one podcast for membership owners. We have been helping people with memberships of all shapes and sizes for close to a decade now. Over 400 episodes of practical insights, tips, and advice on growing a successful membership. And so if you are new to the show, you've got a lot of binging through the archives to do. Don't worry, I don't expect you to get through all 400 or so episodes, but hey, stranger things have happened. The biggest favor that you can do yourself and your membership is to hit that subscribe button in your podcast app to ensure you do not miss a single episode in the future. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for continuing to listen and support the show, for all your great feedback, all your reviews, and your continued patronage of the Membership Geeks podcast. Okay, we're talking today about dealing with cancellations, particularly cancellations where the decision to go is cost. It's financial. People are leaving and they're telling you that the reason they can't stay subscribed is they simply can't afford it. Now, if you're thinking, well, hey, how am I supposed to know that? There's your first task. Yeah, every single membership needs to be collecting data from their outgoing members about why they are leaving. Ideally, this offboarding, this cancellation process should be collecting data before the cancellation is actually actioned. You know, if your membership system doesn't allow you to ask questions before someone actually cancels, then okay, sure, it's better to follow up after someone's left and ask them why they left than to not get data at all. But ideally, you should be looking at a way of implementing some very short feedback form or pre-cancellation questionnaire where you ask people outright, what is the main reason that you're leaving? You, as part of that, should have maybe 5 or 6 different options they can choose from. It could be, I can't afford the payments anymore. I simply don't have time for the membership. It's not what I expected. I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. All those kinds of things. Give people options they can choose from and a free text box to write in a little bit more information. This is going to really help you to understand where the potential areas for making improvements or changes are in your member retention strategy. So if you're not collecting information about why people are leaving, first and foremost, make sure you are doing that. You need that data in order to refine your strategy. But if you're doing this and people are telling you they're leaving because they can't afford your membership, what are you supposed to do? How can you potentially change their mind before they go through to cancel? And even if you can't change their mind, how can you alter things in your ongoing strategy to ensure you don't lose more members in the future for the very same reason? It's important to understand, first and foremost, that if people are leaving because they can't afford your membership, that isn't as black and white as it seems. It's not just that they don't have the money. It's not just that the budget is tight. It's not necessarily a financial reason. Sometimes it is. Absolutely, sometimes it is. The current economic situation, obviously the pandemic, when we went through that affected a lot of people's affordability. How much money someone has is definitely going to determine whether they're going to be likely to want to stay in your membership. So sometimes it is a purely financial reason, but other times it's actually more about perception of value. So it's not necessarily that they can't afford it, it's just that they don't see it as something that is worth continuing to pay for. And there's a big difference between that. You know, if someone's paying $200 per month for something, and they are receiving something out of it that is worth $300 per month, then that is a no-brainer to stick around. But if someone's paying $200 a month and they don't think they're getting anything back from it, even if they can afford that $200, they're going to look at that and see it as wasted money, or see it as money they can't afford to spend without a return. So perception of value factors into it as well. It's not always just financial restriction. It's not just they can't afford it, they don't have the money, they're going through tough times economically right now. They may be able to afford that money. It may not be having much of a financial burden on them, but if they don't perceive your membership to be giving them sufficient value in exchange for what they're paying, they will leave on the basis that they can't afford it. They don't want to continue paying. They can't afford to be throwing away money. Not that they just don't have the money at all. So what can you do in both of these situations? So first and foremost, it's important to understand that if it's a purely financial situation, that often that is a temporary situation. If someone could afford your membership but now they can't, it might just be that things have gotten a little tight, that it's come up to the holiday season, it's come to Christmas, and they're having to spend money on presents, and they're having to, pay higher bills for utilities and heating because it's colder, and some money's a little bit tighter. But actually in a few months' time, things will loosen up again, and that situation changes. So financially restrictive reasons or financial issues can be temporary ones. So it doesn't mean that, someone can't afford their membership and therefore they're never going to be able to afford a membership. So with that in mind, you can offer them alternatives to cancelling that are temporary solutions to a temporary problem. Now, of course, if someone leaves your membership, they can always come back. So cancelling technically is a temporary solution, but the severing of that subscription, the cancelling, the ending of someone's time with you feels on a subconscious level more like they have stopped something, more like a permanent solution to what might just be a temporary financial problem for them. So if you can offer them an alternative, like the ability to put their membership on pause, either indefinitely until they're ready to come back, or for a set period of time. Perhaps you give them the option to pause for 3 months, and then after that 3 months, it'll automatically resume. That might be enough time to give them a little bit of a breather. Even if you don't automatically resume, there is, again, just that psychological difference between cancelling a membership of a membership site and just putting things on hold. Technically, if you put your membership on pause, you're still a member. You can still get member emails. You've got more of a basis to give them little nudges and reminders to come back than if they had left. So give them the option to pause their membership so they don't lose any progress, they don't lose their account, they keep the current pricing they're on. And that can be a big incentive, because if you put your price up a few times over the years and someone cancelling means they lose the price that they locked in several years ago, it makes it less likely they'll come back again in the future, even if they can afford it. Because, for example, with Membership Academy, when we very first launched, our launch offer pricing back in 2015 was $29 a month. Right now, for that same kind of membership level, it's $65, because the actual product and what they get is the equivalent of our pro tier now. So if someone who's still a member on $29 a month, and we do still have members on that rate from 10 years ago now, if that person cancels their membership and then comes back in 3 months' time, because they've cancelled, they've lost that $29 a month rate. So they'd have to rejoin at $65 a month. Even if they can afford it now, that jump up is a disincentive. However, by giving them the option to pause, you're letting them keep that rate and making it far easier for them to resume again when their situation's different. So there's a lot more benefits to giving someone the ability to pause that makes it more likely they'll see it as a temporary solution, and they'll be more likely to just resume, pick their membership back up and carry on, and they can continue being a member for months and years beyond that. So if someone is leaving and it is purely financial, give them an alternative, give them the option to pause, or give them the option to downgrade. So if you have multiple membership tiers like we do, if you know that your member is on one of the higher tiers, again, if you can kind of interject yourself into the cancellation process before anything final is done, you can offer them the option of simply downgrading their membership to a cheaper tier. Now, this could be a tier that you have available publicly. So again, for us at the Academy, we've got a standard and we've got a pro tier. Someone's on the pro tier at $65 a month. It has all of our content and it has coaching elements. It has live calls. It has software people get access to. But actually, it may just be that a good alternative solution in the short term is that they downgrade to the standard tier, which is $39 a month, keeps their membership rolling, keeps access to content. They do lose other things, but they're still a member at a more affordable rate. So if they don't have the money to pay for your higher tiers, then that compromise of, you still get to have a lot of benefit from the membership and you get to have a cheaper price. That can be a better alternative to them as well. They might not know you have multiple tiers. They might know, but mightn't realize they could switch to another one. So again, presenting someone with that option. Hey, things happen, life gets in the way. If you're unable to continue on at this higher rate, why not switch to our standard rate where you'll still get access to this, you won't lose all of this, you still remain a member, you can still be in the community, and you get to save X amount per month on what you're currently paying. That might be preferable to them. Now, this might sound counterintuitive, but you could also give them the option to upgrade. That, again, does sound a little bit odd. If someone's telling you they can't afford it, asking them to essentially spend more doesn't really seem wise. But actually, they could be paying for something else, another service, another product that ticks some of the boxes that maybe one of your higher tiers could actually deliver on. And so they could cancel the other thing and get everything they need just from you at potentially a lower price than what they'd be paying if they were paying for two separate things. That makes sense. So just as an example, again, using Membership Academy, one of the things that our pro members get access to is our WordPress theme for memberships, Memberoni. You need to be a pro member in order to get access to that theme. Now, a lot of our members are using WordPress for their memberships, and it may well be that actually they are paying for a premium theme, a premium WordPress design for their membership site that is costing them hundreds of dollars per year. Now, if someone is on a standard membership and they're thinking of leaving, you can actually present to them the fact that, hey, well, if you switch to our pro, you'll get access to our WordPress theme, and they could switch their design, they could switch to our theme that's included in their $65 a month membership. Yes, that's a more expensive membership for Membership Academy, but if it means that they can stop paying for other things, like the other theme that they're using, then they could ultimately end up saving money in the long run. There's also the fact that generally if you're offering an annual and a monthly membership, if someone is on the monthly membership, usually the annual membership, they will save money if they commit to the 12 months. So generally we advise people, if you're offering monthly and annual, price your annual at 10 times the monthly price. That represents a good saving over the space of the year. So again, it might actually be more beneficial for someone to upgrade from a monthly membership up to an annual, because actually that would work out if they were to, divide that total annual price into 12, that actually works out that they'd be paying the equivalent of less per month because they're saving more by having that longer commitment period. So that might be an option as well. And again, when we're talking about downgrades, it doesn't need to be between tiers. Someone might be paying an annual membership fee. You could give them the option to downgrade or to change their billing frequency. So to switch from paying $600 a year to paying $60 per month. Over the long run, it is going to be more expensive, so it doesn't solve the financial problems. But in terms of what is going out of their account imminently on their next billing date, it's a lot less. So it's not just about downgrading to a cheaper plan. Switching the payment frequency, switching from an annual to a monthly, an annual to quarterly, a quarterly to monthly, essentially just bringing down how much they need to pay out on their next payment or their next few payments is going to at least give them options. And this is really what that's about. So if the reason someone's leaving is they are legitimately unable to financially support their subscription, giving these alternatives is a way to address that. Now, if it's a question of value, then really this is you making your case for how much value they either have already had from your membership and maybe haven't realized it, or how much value they could be getting if they just put in the time and the effort. So remind people of any results or value that they have had. So if you've got any way of tracking, courses they've completed, if you have a way of tracking, if you're using gamification for badges, for, achieving milestones, reminding them of this, highlighting any progress that they've made or a lack of progress. If they've not started on the one key piece of content that could be changing their life, point this out to them. Point out to them, essentially, maybe not being so blunt, but listen, if you haven't had value from this membership, it might be because you haven't done anything with it yet. So finding ways of highlighting progress people have made to remind them, hey, you mightn't realize it, but this has been valuable to you. Here's something to think about. Actually reflect on the value you've had. Or, hey, you genuinely haven't had any value out of it, but that's because you've not watched any content. You've not started. You've not done the things you're meant to do. Also look at ways of giving someone a quick win. Usually if someone's going to cancel their membership, they don't always leave it till like the day before their payment is due. So someone might go to cancel a membership with weeks left on it. You can actually encourage them before they process their cancellation to check out some short, actionable content that could give them a quick win. That will take them 30 minutes to watch, another 30 minutes to implement, and it'll give them a result. It'll move them forward. If they've got time left on their membership, it's not going to hurt them to leave it a day or two and try out this quick win content. So if you can point people towards anything that they can really quickly consume and it'll give them a quick result, it'll help them make progress, it'll get them one step further to where they need to be. Again, you're showing people, listen, there is value to be had. There are results, there are wins to be had. You just need to be willing to actually put in the time and put in the work. So any way you could give someone a quick win and encourage them, instead of cancelling right now, just go do this. Go do this. See if you get the result. If you get a result, then maybe think twice about whether you want to leave. Quick wins or pathways. It might be someone's not seeing value because they don't really know the route to getting that value. It's always worth laying out a step-by-step pathway through your content, through your membership resources, which shows people, hey, if you want to get from A to Z, this is the path you take. Here's A, here's B, here's C, here's D. Do it in this order. Don't jump around. Don't skip around. This is what to do when. This is what to ignore. Like giving people that direct pathway is more likely to see them actually get results, make progress, see value, and change their perception of how important your membership is and how worthwhile it is to be paying for. Also look at signposting future value. This is one of my favorite things to do, because if someone's trying to assess the value of your membership, they're only ever going to be looking backwards. What have I done so far? What have I had so far? How much content have I consumed? What courses have I seen? Have I been using it up till this point? But if you signpost the future value, you let people know what's coming up. Hey, if you cancel today, you're going to miss out on this live training session with this expert. You're going to not be here when we release this new course. You're not going to be able to access this fantastic new feature or this tool we've been working on. That just gives them something else to think about. They need to start thinking about what happens beyond their decision to stay or leave. And so their perception of value is no longer just looking back, it's looking forward at what they would lose if they left today. And that can be a game changer. Again, it's getting people to think about things from different perspectives, but also you're creating that preemptive FOMO. You're creating that fear of missing out on what's coming. So signpost that future value, again, during that cancellation process. Hey, if you leave now, you're going to miss out on these things that are coming up. Are you sure you want to go? You can also offer us some Hail Mary options. So again, if we want to try and give people alternatives to the finality of cancelling, you could potentially offer someone a free month. So again, if you know that there are some great quick win type content in your membership, that there are some pathways, that there's some key things this person has maybe not done, you can actually throw out a Hail Mary and kind of say, listen, we'll make you a deal. give us one more month. We'll give you that month for free. So you're almost giving them a free trial at the end or the potential end of their membership period. We'll give you 1 month for free. And in exchange, all I ask from you is that you try this. You follow this path. You make 15 minutes a day to, complete these exercises. I'll give you that free month if you commit to using that free month to really trying to get the best out of this membership and to see the value that it can bring and that it is worthwhile continuing to stick around in. If you get to the end of the free month, you've not lost anything. You've had it for free. You've given us a try. We wouldn't expect you to stick around if, you got to that point. But just give us that shot. Give us 1 more month to try and change your mind. Again, that's a bit of an alternative. Even just the willingness to do that, the confidence of doing that, the confidence of saying, listen, we're so assured that you can get value from this membership. We'll give you a month for free. And all we say is do these things. You will get results, you'll get value, and you'll see why leaving is a bad choice. So that is something that you can throw out there. Or even just something simpler, just offering people the opportunity to book a 15-minute call with you or one of your team just to talk about what their actual needs are and to give you an opportunity to point them towards content they maybe didn't think would exist, to answer questions that perhaps will give them the clarity that they need to then set off on a different route within your membership. So again, these are just throwing out different alternatives to someone only having the choice to cancel, because often people's reasoning isn't black and white. Again, if someone says they're leaving because they can't afford it, it doesn't mean they can't afford it. It's just they're not seeing the value. They're not seeing the justification. They can't justify the continued investment. And that's all down to perception of value. We have to remember throughout all of this, and again, obviously present people with different options, gather data and all that sort of stuff, but we don't want to get in the way of them leaving if they have their mind set on it. Cancellations are often temporary, particularly if they're cancellations for financial reasons. Not having the money, not being able to afford things right now is a temporary situation, and so it's likely that those people could come back in the future. So we don't want to make it such an arduous process for them to leave. We always say, make the decision to leave difficult, not the process. So we don't want to stand in their way too much, but making sure that we are at least accounting for their reasoning and what it might mean and letting them know that there are alternatives and there's other ways of thinking about things beyond them only having the choice to stay or to leave. So I do hope some of this is useful and it's giving you something to think about in terms of your own cancellation processes. And if you are getting a lot of people giving these reasons for leaving, these are some options for refining that offboarding process and trying to salvage and turn people around before they actually hit cancel. That is it from me for this week. I do hope you found today's episode useful. If you have, I would love to hear from you. Hit me up on social media at Membership Geeks everywhere. Let me know your top takeaway. Let me know anything from the episode you're going to change, implement, do. Let me know if you're already doing this and if it's getting results. I always love talking to fellow membership owners, so I would love to hear from you if this episode has proven useful to you. That is it from me. I'm out of here, and I'll be back again very soon with another episode of the Membership Geeks podcast. Bye for now. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Membership Geeks podcast, we invite you to check out membershipacademy.com. Membership Academy is the original membership about memberships, and it's the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a successful online membership business. Whether you're still trying to figure out what your idea is going to be and you need some help making it a reality, or whether your website is already up and running and you're looking for ways to grow and attract new members, then Membership Academy can help you to get to the next level. Not only do you get access to our step-by-step membership roadmap, our extensive training library, and exclusive member-only discount and tools, you'll also become part of our supportive, active community of membership owners that will help you along the way in your journey with feedback, encouragement, and advice. All of this and more make Membership Academy the #1 place to be for anyone looking to start, manage, and grow a successful membership business. Check it out and join the community at membershipacademy.com.